We are Anka. Stay tuned for updated real news.
Hello, Anka Daily News viewers. We continue to bring you extraordinary developments that go beyond the battle lines and resonate in the heart of Russia. Today, inside Russia, there's movement on a scale not seen in a long time. Reports from across the country indicate that thousands of people have gathered in the streets, chanting slogans against Vladimir Putin and launching a mass uprising. This unexpected wave has not only been confined to the major cities of Moscow and St. Petersburg, but similar demonstrations are reported to have erupted in other parts of the country. The fact that the Russian people have begun to make their voices heard so loudly after the effects of the long-lasting war and severe economic pressures could seriously shake the balance in the region. In particular, according to some claims, the main reason that sparked this major uprising was the Russian army's attempts to forcibly recruit soldiers in certain regions. Local sources and images shared on social media claim that military units entered villages and towns and forcibly recruited young men. Such forced mobilization is said to have exacerbated already high tensions among the population. The popular reaction to this bullying has turned into a serious revolt not only against government policies, but also against the Putin regime itself. The emerging scenes paint a worrying picture for Russia's internal stability. In the coming minutes, we'll analyze in detail how this uprising started, in which cities it's concentrated, and how the Russian leadership is responding to this unexpected popular movement. We'll also look at the reality of the alleged forced recruitment, the extent to which these practices have spread, and their impact on the population. We now turn our eyes to the streets of Russia. Before we get to our report, though, a quick reminder. The Anka Daily News team is definitely real. Neither me nor any of my colleagues are artificial intelligence. Even though AI is very advanced, it's still not as good as us. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. We do read all the comments you leave on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you'd like to see on the Anka Daily News channel. And now let us begin if you're ready. Anka Daily News reports. On another front overshadowed by the war, this time on Russian soil, serious tensions between the people and the state have begun to escalate. The latest information reveals that the problem is not limited to casualties on the Ukrainian front, but has also penetrated into the heart of Russian society. Allegedly, the Russian army recently launched a large-scale conscription operation in the village of Krasnoye Pole in the Belgorod region. This operation did not go as quietly as planned. According to local sources and eyewitnesses, Russian soldiers entered the village early in the morning in armored vehicles. They went from house to house to take the names of men between the ages of 18 and 50 and forcibly conscript them into the army. But something unexpected happened. The villagers could no longer tolerate the years of war swallowing their own children and raised the flag of rebellion. This resistance, which started in the village of Krasnoye Pole, quickly spread to the surrounding villages. Hundreds of people from the villages of Yuzhnaya Dolina and Staroletskaya blocked the roads with tractors and agricultural vehicles, preventing the passage of military convoys. Families took to the streets, mothers holding photos of their children and chanting, "We will not give our children." According to local sources, protesters began chanting slogans openly accusing Putin and calling for his resignation. The protesters marched carrying banners such as, "We are not soldiers, we are defending our fields," and "We will not sacrifice our children for Putin's war." This courageous outburst by the local people soon turned into a large movement. After reaching the city center of Belgorod, a group of about 400 people gathered in front of the government's office to continue their protest against the draft. When some of the protesters were allegedly detained by local security forces, the crowd grew even larger. In footage that quickly went viral on social media, the scuffle between Russian police and protesters is clearly visible. Police and military reportedly used water cannons and rubber bullets to quell the riot. It's reported that dozens of people were injured and at least 75 people were detained during these interventions. According to details, the group organizing the protests is led by 43-year-old farmer Alexei Morozov. Alexei is a father who lost two sons on the Ukrainian front. The local organization he leads, the Resistance Committee of Mothers and Fathers, has been trying to organize the people of the village by holding small meetings for months. The Russian army's forced recruitment attempt was the last straw. Alexei Morozov's words reflected in the press are as follows. We are tired of burying our sons in the ground. We are paying the price for Putin's war. We do not want to see any more funerals in this village. They will not silence us. These protests were not limited to the people of the village. Opposition circles in major cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg also started support campaigns on social media when they heard about the events. The hashtag "Don't Touch Our Children" quickly became a trending topic in Russia. The Russian government, on the other hand, faced allegations that it restricted internet access across the country in order to suppress the events and prevent them from growing. On the other hand, some analysts close to Kremlin sources have reportedly described the uprising as treason and hinted that a wave of arrests could be launched against the protesters. On the diplomatic front, these developments have begun to resonate. The European Union and the United States issued statements condemning the alleged forced recruitment in Russia. Amnesty International has also announced that it is closely monitoring the events and will call on the Moscow government to address human rights violations. The fact that the spark that started in Krasnoye Pole quickly turned into a regional conflagration shows that the anger that has long been suppressed on the domestic front in Russia is now coming to the surface. The heavy burden of more than 3 years of war is being felt not only on the front lines but also in the fields, on the streets, and at kitchen tables. The determined resistance to forced conscription is the clearest sign of the Russian people's growing impatience and exhaustion with war policies. The voice raised by Alexei Morozov and thousands of families like him who have lost their sons is not just the cry of a small village, but of an entire society. However, it remains to be seen how the Kremlin will manage these protests and whether this rebellion will spread across the country. All eyes will now be on the Russian government's next steps and the international community's reaction to these developments. Whether this movement will be suppressed or whether it will be the beginning of a wider civil unrest will become clearer in the coming days. But do you think this spark in Krasnoye Pole will spread across Russia? Can this movement, led by Alexei Morozov, grow to the point of shaking the Putin administration? Let us know in the comments. We read and care about your points of view.